Viacom, Paramount Pictures, removed the image of a Taiwanese flag from the trailer for Top Gun Maverick. And Mercedes-Benz issued an apology for posting a photo and a quote from the Dalai Lama. The quote had nothing to do with China. It did not advocate for Tibetan independence. It read, "Look at the situation from all angles, and you will become more open." There is nothing inflammatory or insulting to China about this quote, only that it was from the Dalai Lama. And China dictates how the world interacts with both the Dalai Lama and Taiwan. The 2012 remake of the film Red Dawn had the entire script rewritten when a Chinese invasion of the US was changed to a North Korean invasion, which made no sense. Despite the rewrite, the film was still banned in China. Good, serves them right. The Red Dawn story is an egregious example of the West censoring itself for money, but in this case, winding up empty-handed. The original Red Dawn, made in 1984, is one of my favorite examples of Cold War cinema, Rocky IV being the other. In the movie, the U.S. is invaded by the USSR, an army comprised of mostly Russian and some Cubans. When the remake was made in 2012, they thought it would be more current to have China invade the U.S. At some point, however, they were either told or figured out that the film would be banned in China, and they would lose access to one of the world's largest markets for movie tickets. So, they quickly rewrote the movie, having North Korea, a country with a population about 1/7 the size of the United States, known for widespread famine and state-level dysfunction, traveling halfway across the globe to invade the world's #1 military power. And the film was still banned in China, which could have been because it was just too weak of a veiled metaphor for China, or because North Korea is also a hot-button topic in China. The movie was released in the US, but failed there too because it was a terrible movie based on a preposterous premise, and Hollywood was left holding the bag. Having learned nothing and having sprouted no additional backbone, Hollywood continues to allow itself to be censored by China. The James Bond film Skyfall could only be released after it cut out references to prostitution in Macau. Yeah, because God knows in the gambling capital of Asia, there's no prostitution. The subtitles were also altered to remove references to torture by Chinese police. The Chinese release of Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End had most of the footage with Chow Yun-fat removed because Beijing felt it was a negative portrayal of Chinese people. It's a movie about pirates. I never felt that the presence of Johnny Depp in that movie portrayed all Americans as pirates. For a would-be superpower, China is extremely sensitive. A chase scene through the streets of Shanghai at the beginning of Mission Impossible 3 was censored because the government felt that underwear hanging on clotheslines would make the country look poor. Companies are self-censoring and even firing employees for offending China, which has a potential of 1.4 billion customers. Through their economic growth and power, China is able to impose their vision on the world, including imposing their censorship and restriction of freedoms. After the NBA incident, South Park struck back at China with an episode called Banned in China. China issued a statement on how insulted they were and wiped South Park and all references to South Park off of all Chinese media and social media. South Park issued this incredible apology. Like the NBA, we welcome the Chinese censors into our homes and into our hearts. We too love money more than freedom and democracy. She doesn't look like Winnie the Pig at all. Long live the great Communist Party of China. May the autumn sorghum harvest be bountiful. As always, comedy is 80% truth. By accepting Chinese censorship and control, companies are averting a short-term economic loss in exchange for a long-term loss of basic freedoms. I'm Dr. Antonio Graceffo. Thank you for tuning in to China Economic Research. You can get my books on Amazon.com. I write about the Chinese economy and wrestling and martial arts around Asia. You can also follow me on Twitter. I tweet about the Chinese economy and Mongolian economy. If you enjoyed the video, please click like and please subscribe to the channel. I'm Dr. Antonio Graceffo. See you next time on China Economic Research.